Alright, this video is going to be over similar shapes and figures. So we're going to first take some notes and then we're going to apply it to one right triangle and another similar figure, or two similar figures. So fill in the blank with the appropriate word, phrase, or symbol to make a true statement. Well, the first one is similar figures have the same shape but not necessarily the same size. Right. Number two, the symbol tilde, commonly misspelled with an A, right, and generally looks like a sideways S. Right, means similar. Number three, a scale drawing is an enlarged or reduced drawing that is similar to an actual object or place. And in number four, in similar triangles, corresponding angles are congruent and corresponding sides are in proportion. And an example that holds true for that is this one right here, and number 5. So here we could literally draw a tilde between these two. And so because we know they're similar, because they tell us that, right, and in the next problem they're also similar, we can apply using proportions. So because we can apply using proportions, we can set up our proportions. So we're going to have our fraction bar, our equal sign, and then again our fraction bar. Right? So for this first triangle, I'll call it A. Right? I'm going to use the proportion 5/8. Right? It really wouldn't matter if you did 8/5 as long as you met corresponding sides and the other ratio on the other side of the equal sign. Right? So since I have 5/8 here and I have a 5 up top, I have to put an X up top of the ratio on the other side of the equal sign. So I'm going to use an X, and then I'm going to put the 5 below, and that's the corresponding side of the 8. So what I mean by corresponding sides, right, is that here I have the X and the 5, and notice how they're both on top. Right? And then if I was to highlight the other ones in blue, right, notice how both the blues are in the bottom. So corresponding sides, right, are either both on the same on the top or same on the bottom. So now from here, you just use your cross product method of multiplication to solve this, and you would get 8x equals 25. Right, so now we have the product set equal to each other. And then when you are to solve this, it's actually not going to work out perfectly like you might think it should, and you'll get x equals 3.125. And so that is the correct proportional side length to this similar triangle. And it's actually 3.125 feet. So what we've just found is that for the value of x in this triangle, right, is 3.125, and that actually makes sense. Since 8 is larger here, that in this triangle A, that means that this 3.125 should be smaller than 5 here, just like 5 is less than 8 in A. So x was equal to 3.125 feet. Next, we're going to go on to a similar figure. And I will try and be quick and not take too much time. So we have this shape, and when they give you all the lengths but one, all you need for a proportion is to know that it's similar, which I told you before we did these two problems that they are similar, right? So there's a symbol, the tilde for similarity, and we are going to use any side lengths on here, and I'm going to use the ones with the smallest number. So I need to use the x and the 7, and I'm going to use 4 and 36. So what's going to happen is I'm going to write my first proportion for this object, x/36. And then I'm going to write 7/4. Now if you're to look at this, you'll see that we have corresponding sides here. That 7 and x go together. Oh, and I put a x where there should be a 4. So what will happen is when you use the cross product multiplication, you will get 7 times 36, which is 252, right? And you'll get 4x on the left-hand side. And to get rid of that 4, you have to use the inverse rule of multiplication, and that would be division. And so you would divide by 4 on both sides to get rid of that, so you can find the value of x, which just so happens to be x equals 63. So what that 63 is telling us is that proportional value for this side length is 63, and that would make sense because 7 is greater than 4 here. So if I put the 63 in there, 63 is greater than 36, so we can trust that that answer is correct. So thank you, and I hope this helps you with learning how to use cross products with similar shapes and figures.